morning. Been a while.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. You're right. I'm so used to doing it in the morning with Guido.
Yeah, you got up early the other day. I was like, man, this
We usually
dude.
do it about 8 a.m. usually.
Oh, man. I
Yeah.
can't even talk at 8 a.m.
He doesn't like it. He thinks that we should go a little later, but I don't know. I like it.
But
I
you're
like it early in the morning.
You're an early guy. You wake up early.
Yeah, I can't even
Yeah.
help it.
I mean, I wake up around 7, but I'm not ready to talk till 10.
Oh, I get up at 5. Oh, I'm ready to talk by 7.
Oh, boy. You drink a lot of coffee, man. You're working a whole other day if you get up at 5.
I don't sleep that much. I don't sleep like heavy. Like I'm only a 6-hour sleeper or something like that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not a big heavy sleeper, so we usually go to bed at 10. So
I'll do it in cycles, though. I'll go like 3 weeks on 5 to 6. But then about somewhere around that third week, I need about 12 hours.
Oh, really?
There's one day where I'm like, I'm really tired. I got to go to sleep.
I'll crash if I'm going hard, where I need like a day, just a day.
Yeah.
But then I'm right back to my normal
Dude, you've been
schedule.
dropping content like crazy. I'm watching you. You've been interviewing
Trying.
so many people.
I want more interviews. I like interviews. Interviews are my favorite part, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's my absolute favorite part.
Well, ask me some questions.
I got a question for you.
Oh, here we go.
I got a great question for you.
What's that?
What do you think about this renewed love for Jesus that you're seeing everywhere?
You feel like you see it everywhere?
It's everywhere.
That's
Are you
good.
kidding me? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State,
Yeah, it is.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just seeing it everywhere. It's like, what is this about?
Yeah, I mean,
You haven't noticed it?
not really, because I live saturated in that world, so I don't know if it's just me noticing it or if it's, if it's just really happening. But I
Yeah.
so that's the world I live in, is just a world of revival in Jesus and recognizing, presence, Jesus in the world. So I live in that world. So for me, it was hard to see. When I saw the Ohio State thing, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then Philadelphia, I watched like the interviews, like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then you watch some of the Trump stuff, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's cool to see other people.
It seems like it's hot. It seems like it's like
Jesus is trending, huh?
yeah, Jesus
way.
is trending.
Wow.
That's a great. Jesus is trending.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
Well, that's
I
good
love
for me
it.
to hear. I love it, man. I'm out here beating it up every week, and I feel like nobody hears me. I'm out here preaching the
I wonder
gospel.
what's bringing the. I mean, it's the young. I think the
They're
younger,
hungry, man. Hunger
the
for
younger
truth.
generation. I think is more about the religion than there was a time, I think it started in the 90s, where people just started to maybe, I don't want to say ignore religion, but they started to doubt it.
Got really cold on.
I think they started to feel like maybe there's a possibility it was.
Well, I think what we went through as a nation
Fake,
over
maybe?
the
I
last,
don't
like we went towards like the last probably 5 to 6 years, it was real nihilistic, real meaninglessness, and extreme secular perspective, like on moral issues. And they tried to they tried to explain them away, and they have no substance attached to them. So things like, the sacredness of life, or things like, like the meaning of life, it all got shoved into this, and then all of the movements that happened were just so empty, and they came up empty. At the end of it, like what was that? The Black Lives Matter movement, and the LGBT, whatever movement, and all of those movements came up empty. And there's a generation now that I suspect is thirsting for substance. And I can see it in my own kids and their friends. They just return to a simpler life, stripped down. Give me marriage, give me kids, give me things of meaningful value, as opposed to this endless pursuit of pleasure and leisure, and it just seems the pendulum has swung back, and because it went that way so hard, and it was empty, and there's nothing there. It's just empty, and I feel like the pendulum's kind of swung back, and finally the gospel's making some treadway.
Yeah, I think it was longer than that, though. I think that it started like I said, in the early 90s, I think.
Yeah,
I think that there was a start. I think that we were just at the apex of it, where it had just went you got a generation that kind of came up doubting, I think, maybe. You know what I mean? More than they did the prior generations. And now you're seeing the children of the parents that were kind of doubtful. And then now you're seeing their children, and their children are kind of, I think, pushing more. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they're not. But
well, I mean, historically, historically, it makes sense because, you would go through the, World War II, and then we come into the, the baby boomers come out of that. Then we're born, and we're latchkey kids, and we're just out here, grunging. So I feel like the crisis. Anytime you go through a crisis as a nation or a person, you find anybody in crisis, suddenly, like, Jesus emerges from it. He just emerges from the darkness. That's where, like, people say they go to prison and they have these experiences. These I met Jesus experience. Yeah, because you were alone and you were in the dark, and you were, anytime you're alone in life and beat up and tired, I feel like that's just the perfect breeding ground for Jesus to reveal himself to you. So yeah, I feel like that's definitely what's happened in the nation. But like I said, I'm so. I do it every day, so like to see it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then I don't get to like drink it in like everybody else.
Well, I didn't realize when me and Guido were talking, I didn't realize that the 90s were so much, like crime rate was so much higher than the 90s than
was
it is today.
See, I didn't even know that.
I didn't realize that either. Guido said it, and I was like, that can't be true. I Googled it. It's by a ton.
Really?
Like the 90s were like probably the worst.
What was it about it that did that? I wonder.
Well, I have my suspicion.
Well, tell me. I'm curious.
It was gangster rap.
I was going to say that because NWA.
As much as I loved it, because I was rocking it.
It was the Ghetto Boys.
I mean, I loved it. I was there.
Ice Cube, Ice-T. I mean, we could go on and on. There's like,
I was Snoop Dogg and Ice-T and
NWA was
Short, Too Short. I was all of them all the way through, and but I suspect that's what it was.
I was going to say, but I'm glad you said it instead of me. That's funny.
I mean, it just I mean, you got to a point where with you made it cool to have gunshots ringing out and things like that, and I mean, it was cool to sing the songs and they were funny, but I didn't ever want gunshots ringing out, and I didn't want in that
because
world.
You actually came from a side of the tracks where the gunshots were ringing out, and you're like, man, that ain't cool. Yeah, anybody from it's funny to me when I go into rooms and I see guys that clearly didn't grow up there, but like talk like they did or like project like they did, and I go, and then they like
Malibu Most
they
Wanted.
make it all romanticized. I'm like, bro, that is not, like, if you're from there, it's not cool. You were trying to get out. You weren't trying to stay there. I'm trying to get out of this, man. I had so many guns stuck in my face. I'm like, I don't.
But I didn't know that. I didn't know that when he told me that. It didn't add up. I'm like that. I thought that we were way worse today than we are, but apparently that's not true. And all statistics back up Guido on that one. That's the case.
Yeah. Well, there's a scripture. It's found in a couple passages of the Bible. One in Joel, another time in the book of Acts. It says in the last days. So this is what it says about in Joel 2. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. It says your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams again. And that's what's going to happen at the end of the end. There will be
don't get my wife all worked up.
No, that's what's going to happen at the end. There will be this resurgence.
You're going to get my wife worked up, man. Don't
Why?
do it.
What's the matter?
She's convinced the end of times are coming.
Oh, we're in the end of the end.
She thinks it's.
We're in the end of the end. Oh, homeboy, we're in the end of the end.
I don't believe that.
Well, you should trust me. I know the book. We're at the end of the end.
You could know the book, but everybody looks for what they want to see.
That's what the Bible actually says. That I want you to later go to the book of Peter, 1 Peter 2, verses 3 and 4, and you'll see exactly what you just said. Is said that you would say that there would be a generation when we get to the end of the end, they'll say exactly what you just said there.
But I think most people want to think they're more important than they are, and I think
it's true. But
I just don't believe we're there. I mean, is it close?
Every prophecy?
Maybe it's close within 300 years, but I don't think it's like.
I pray you're right. I pray you're right, but I don't think you are. I want there to be more time. I don't want to go to heaven tomorrow. I want to bring heaven here today.
Well, answer me this then. I got a question for you if that's the case. I mean, heaven's heaven. It's a wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to delay that?
Oh, I want to delay it so more people can receive Jesus.
Okay.
I want to delay that his return so there will be more to hear the gospel message of Jesus.
Okay. I just always was wondering.
My altar calls have changed, by the way. Like I say, a lot of times preachers will pray this prayer, say, if you were to die today, do you know for certain you go to heaven? If you're not certain, you need to make that decision today. But my altar call is different. I say, if you were to keep on living, because chances are you're going to keep on living. You're not going to die in the next 24 hours. So chances are you're going to keep on living. Are you saved? Are you able to bring heaven to earth? That's more important for right now than it is for later for you to go to heaven. So let me ask you, if you were to keep on living, because you probably will, are you born again? Can you bring heaven to the earth? And if you can't, you're missing out on a more abundant life. You're just wasting time.
Explain that to me, bringing heaven to the earth.
Jesus said, they came to Jesus and they asked him, they said, Jesus, teach us how to pray, because John was a rabbi. And John taught his disciples to pray, and they come to Jesus and said, Jesus, teach us how to pray. And he said, and you know this, our Father. This is how you should pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on the earth as it is in heaven. That was what Jesus said we are to be praying and looking for. So Jesus said you should be expecting, if you believe in me, you should be expecting heaven to come to the earth. We just pray a prayer in the hopes that one day when we die, we'll go to heaven. But Jesus said, no, being born again is more about bringing heaven here where it's needed. You won't need heaven when you get there. Heaven will be yours. The reward of eternity will be yours.
Will you have sin when you get there?
No, you'll be perfect.
It'll just disappear.
It's all gone.
Alleviate you?
Well, you won't have. I don't want to say that. That's a lot to unpack.
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is because sin, sin's dealt with now. You don't even have sin now if you're born again. I mean, you still have to put your faith in Jesus every day, but the remedy of sin is Jesus. It's that answers sin has been paid for by the blood of Jesus.
Yes,
yeah,
I get that.
So you don't have to live with
but I'm just saying,
the weight
we'll
of
gone
sin.
100% later.
It's gone, man. It's gone. You're
gone.
redeemed.
You won't have those
fully
evil thoughts
redeemed.
that you have?
You will know God fully.
Those evil thoughts are gone.
Everything's gone. There'll be no crying, no tears.
Nothing?
Okay. Just fun.
Just fun?
Just fun. Yeah.
See, that's messed up in my behavior.
You take that up with him, man. I'm not his attorney. I had people hit me up with a bunch of lists the other day. I got all these questions, and I'm not coming to your church until you answer them. And I'm like, look, man, I don't have to play that game.
It's a wonderful game. Let's play it right now.
Go ahead.
Let's go
ahead. But I'm not. Listen, man. I'm not Jesus. I am not Jesus. I am the worst of sinners.
These are always just your best guess. I mean, you don't really know.
I take the scriptures as I know them. I take the scriptures, the most reliable source I found on planet Earth. I take the scriptures and I just say, okay, how do I live my life? I'll reference the scriptures. That's it. That's the best I got. It's the best thing I know going in the earth.
What do you think about Trump going to Gaza?
What do you mean?
You didn't see that?
Yeah, I saw it, but I need you to be more precise. That's a loaded question,
That's a loaded question. I said what I believe. I believe that's the most insane thing we could do.
I mean, it's a bit. It's.
Is it just him baiting somebody else to step in? Like,
he really believes
with the king with Jordan.
No, I think he believes he can build something that could remedy the problem that exists there. But the problem that exists is a biblical problem. And in the two seeds, you have the seed of Abraham, or you have the seed of Isaac and the seed of Ishmael, and they're going to be at war with one another until Christ returns. I mean, it's just, if you read Genesis, you'll answer all these questions. Who the land belongs to is in the book of Genesis, and the eternal struggle that will exist there is in the book of Genesis. These two brothers will fight until the return of Jesus. That's going to happen. So it's naive to suggest that you could answer it with such a secular answer. That answer is, it's just not that simple.
I think it just ties us up in a mess. That's all I worry about. Like, to me, that just ties us in a damn mess that I don't want involved in.
Which, if he does, and here's this is going to make your wife stay up late at night too, this statement. But if he does
it is the end, because that is the war, that you're the holy war.
Well,
I get that. I understand.
Very well could be what is referenced as the Antichrist in the Bible. If he
Trump
does,
could be?
Yes. If he does. Now, I'm like,
why would Trump have said, why would God have saved him from being shot then?
There's a scripture reference in the Bible that talks about the Antichrist will be shot. And he'll come back to life. And he will negotiate peace in the Middle East. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm sitting on the couch in Florida. We're watching this. I'm like, oh my God. Like, if he does,
that's not good.
I'm like, that's my dog. I don't want Trump to be the Antichrist.
You can't say that.
I'm just telling you, that's what the scripture says. So I don't believe, listen to me, I don't believe that is a real proposition to solve the problems of the Middle East. I don't think those problems can be solved outside of faith in Christ. They just can't be solved. I mean, and if you really want to know how this is going to play out, read your Bible. It's all in there.
No, I'm just wondering if you think Trump should get involved. I think he should.
I think he should.
Or if he's just trying to get somebody else to step in.
No, I think he's definitely doing that. I think he's trying to negotiate and broker peace there.
You can't.
To the best of his ability. But it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I mean, those people, they believe...
The Palestinians believe that this is our land.
They believe that.
Israel believes it's their land. Mm-hmm. And the problem with Palestinians...
And perception is reality.
100%.
It doesn't matter what you know.
Whoever's right or wrong,
perception is reality. I can tell you that all day long. Yeah.
And the other thing is that with Palestinians, like, if they believed in protesting, wouldn't that be wonderful? I mean, they could just protest all day long and everything would be nice. But they believe that they should kill, and if they die, they don't have to wait for the rapture. They're going straight to heaven.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is...
Ain't no virgins waiting for you, homie.
You know what I'm saying?
But what I can say about, Trump's involvement there... Well, no, I won't say that.
No, do it.
Well, I mean, he's gonna...
Let's be honest.
He's gonna... Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to get involved. I think he's going to leave it to Jordan and Egypt and tell them they better step up or we're coming.
Well,
I believe that's what he's planned on doing. I hope that's what he's planned.
I think it's imminent. I think there'll be troops sent there within 7 days.
To Gaza? You think that right now?
They're going to get their hostages.
Hamas.
They're going to get their hostages.
Well, he did say that.
They're going to get them. Yeah. I can tell you that right now. I believe that. Listen, I'm no prophet, but I'm telling you, I think it's pretty likely that they've already made that decision.
They're probably already boots
They're probably already on the ground,
set up, trying to figure out where they're at.
That SEAL team, whatever.
Yeah,
they're over there looking for people.
Yeah, I believe you're right about that. But that's different than going in and getting our hostages, wiping out Hamas or Hezbollah, whatever. That's different than going over there and trying to develop the land. I mean, yes, if they have have Americans there, we need to go get in there.
I would love it. I would love it if there could be that. That would be awesome. I love Israel. I'd love to go there as an American citizen without having to get a passport.
Well, you still would to go into Israel. It would just be Gaza.
He's talking about owning Gaza for a minute there, didn't he? Didn't he say something like that?
Owning Gaza, but not Israel.
I mean, that's where it's at, homie.
But he's saying making it an American sovereign nation.
That's crazy.
Gaza, not Israel.
That's crazy. And I wouldn't even want him to do that. But
No, you don't want it because they'll just be attacking us, and we'll definitely have to be at war all the time, the same as Israel is today. Then we would have to be in that.
Well, I mean, as long as he's the president, you will have that. They will. He's going to bat for Israel. He's going in there. That's just like I said. I wouldn't be surprised. You turn on TV right now, and there are like rumors of, hey, troops deployed.
Going in.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to protect it. He's going to protect it.
I get that. I understand that, but that's different than going in.
I mean, the thing is, don't you think his idea was, I'm like, oh, that's a better idea, like to develop the land and give people something
I believe
viable
that
to come back
I've said
to.
it already, but the difference is I think what you need to do is put mafia in there. That's what I think.
Put the mafia in there?
Yeah, that's what
Just
I think.
send some Italians over there?
No, not Italians. Like, they can have their own mafia, but the Palestinians can go in there.
That's kind of what they got.
No, I mean mafia, like for real mafia. Not they can go kill each other for bad deals, but not over religion, over money. Let them go in there. I mean, that's what. I mean, let's face it. That's what put the United States where they were. The mafia was running shit. They kept things in check. You know what I'm saying? I believe that nobody will keep Hezbollah and Hamas more in check than a mafia trying to make money in hotels and gambling. You know what I'm saying?
Eventually.
And resorts. I believe that wholeheartedly. I know it's not a good opinion, but I believe it would work. I think that's the only way you make it work, is that they do it themselves. And the only way they do them themselves is if they have the mafia, their own mafia, not Italians.
It's ideological. I mean, the tension that exists there, like I said, it's ideological. Like it's one believes they are the chosen seed, and the other one equally believes they are the chosen seed of the land, and that fight will continue until the end of time. We will see it unfold in Armageddon. It'll be the end. When you see, Scripture says this, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that the time is near. Every time it flares up, I'm like, well,
it's always
hand on the doorknob
by armies. Since they put it there in the 40s, it's been surrounded by armies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way. I mean, it's been. I mean, it's been forever. I mean, it's not stopped. There's always been war there. Mm-hmm. It's always.
Yep.
So I don't understand. That's when people say that, it's like, I don't think this is any worse than it's ever been. I don't think so. I think it's always been this way. I mean, like my neighbors across the street, the one was, I was talking to him, he was born in Venezuela because his parents left, that area in 67 when the war broke. I mean, it's always been that way since we put Israel in there. And by the way,
they used to have allies, though. They don't have allies anymore. We're their only ally.
Israel?
Mm-hmm. They're surrounded.
In the 40s they did?
I mean, they weren't even a nation then, so. But
when we brought them in, I'm saying, in the 40s, that they had allies at that point?
I mean, I don't know about that. I just know that, in the recent years, there were, before we've gotten to this hostile place, there used to be at least some countries that would support Israel. It doesn't feel like any countries support Israel anymore.
No, I don't believe they do.
Everyone's hostile to Israel, except for us. And
Egypt isn't hostile to them, are they?
I think Egypt just tolerates them because of us.
Yeah, but they're not hostile.
That's the game with any of them. Iran, Syria, all of them. It's just they just tolerate them because they know, first of all, they know their economies are pretty dependent upon America, and even more so than we thought, based on what Doge is putting out there, right?
Did you see that African leader that was, I think he was African, that was saying, telling his people, that's not up to their tax citizens that we don't pay taxes to the United States. Why are you worried about them not giving us any more support? Did you see that? Oh, I'll have to find it. I'll send it to you. I mean, it's
they don't even care that the citizens know.
The leader is basically telling them, quit whining. This is not our fight. This isn't our. I mean, that they don't have any reason to give us money. There's no reason for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because all the funding got canceled
so they were upset.
Well, the citizens were whining, crying about it. But it's I mean, I don't understand why we're giving so much. I don't understand why we're giving $200 billion to Canada. I don't understand why we're giving $350 billion to Mexico.
You want to understand it?
Yeah, please.
The reason is because, what's her name? The crazy woman, Nancy Pelosi, right? Mm-hmm. She gets paid a salary of
$170,000.
But she's worth how many millions? And there you go. Trace the money, buddy. Trace the money. All those deals have nothing to do with those countries. They have to do with where the money comes back to the people that are in power that put them there. That's it. That's all those people, all those pieces. That's why they're so outraged. That's why they're so upset. Their millions are about to be cut off. Their jig is up, man. He found it.
I saw they said, like, and I don't know how true any of it is, but they are saying that Chelsea Clinton got like $85 million or something like that. Her house was purchased for.
How?
They said that they saw that out of payments that were supposed to go to Ukraine, actually.
Yeah.
And actually Zelensky's saying we didn't get that much money.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
It's all coming back.
That's absolutely
It's so
wild.
much more corrupt. That's why when I talk to people on that side of the aisle, like when I talk to my friends that are, I call them my friends. I don't know if they call me theirs, but you know what I mean. You know how that is. And you're like, oh, you're my friend, even though you can't understand this. Like I'm like, how are you not outraged by this? How are you not outraged by this?
I don't get it. I don't understand how they could not be.
I don't feel like I should have to pay taxes for the next 10 years based on what they just discovered.
100 years.
I mean, and every problem in America could be solved just by what we've given away from the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It's insane.
They were showing that some of the money that was supposed to go to North Carolina, I think they said $56 million went to hotels in New York for illegal immigrants.
How are you not outraged by that?
That's North Carolina. These people are sleeping in tents.
I'm like, I can't understand how you could be on that side. And if you're out there and you're watching, like, explain that to me. How you're cool with that?
Explain it to me.
Because one day that could be any of us.
Yeah.
Like a tornado could run through here, F5, whatever. All you climate people believe that.
It's done.
Just run through here and destroy it all. So then what? Like, insurance companies sure ain't going to help us. We know that. But the government makes us get insurance. So who's going to help us?
Right.
But we're good with them sending this money, and you support those people. Man, that's the biggest deception been played on American society ever.
Well, the insurance thing is a scam right off the rip because they collect all that money, and then when natural disasters come, they just fold up.
Yeah,
they just fold. They just go, see ya.
Sorry, we'll open up under something else.
Yeah, yeah, that's all they do. They just open under another name, start charging more premiums.
It's crazy. I can't.
And it doesn't make sense. And that's the same with any of those, basically.
And I would say too, like, I'm not defending Republicans, but right now I can just say the good guys are the Republicans, or a group of them at least, that are trying to expose the absolute
I had this
corruption.
Conversation the other day. I don't think that, like, Trump and a lot of the people involved in them are true Republican, like the old school, like they're more aligned with like a Clinton than they would anything. I mean, there are more conservative avenues for sure, like when he's talking about removing taxes and things like that. That
I mean, capitalism too.
But when you talk about social issues and things like that, I don't think he's any different than Clinton was.
Yeah, I think rational thought would say, yeah, I mean, you should have a social work. A portion of our tax dollars should go to help those who are experiencing hell on earth. Yes.
I mean, that is also what churches are supposed to be. Churches are there for that.
Well, then,
my thing is, this is my thing. If you take all of our money and we got no money to help anybody, you feel like the government should take care of those people. But if you're not doing that, you got a little extra money in your pocket.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be willing to help your neighbor a little more than
we
you
do,
are today.
and the country does.
The country does.
The country
100%
does,
for sure. But when there's some people that, like, their neighbor or family doesn't want to help them, why should I have to help them? Their own friends and family don't want to help them.
They got to go fund me because they've been there before.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the way it is. Like, that's the way I see it. Like, if my friends and family need help, I'm there. But
that's a good world to live in. I mean, a good world to live in would be where the benevolence of the world was flowed through the communities of faith. That's a good world to live in.
Yeah.
I buy that world. I want to live in that
Not
world.
even just, not only just faith, like religious faith. I mean, just faith in humankind, just taking care of each other, just like looking out for your neighbor.
A nonprofit 501c3 set up to serve their community, to pray for their community, to stand alongside those.
Absolutely.
To clap loud for those winning. Yeah, that's a good world to live in. But you told us our tax dollars would help. You told us if we gave this money, it would be allocated for these things.
Well, the
and
only
then you
thing
took
they ever
40%
told us,
of our income.
the only thing they ever told us when they took our money was that it was going to pay for World War II, but that's been over for a while. So I don't know why we're still paying it, to be honest, and in my opinion.
So do you think? I'm curious. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's real? Because I pray it is, man.
That he's going to take out the income tax?
Yes. Do you think that's real?
I think it's going to be a battle, but I think it's a possibility that it could happen. But I believe it could happen. I mean, he's already proposing, but the tax. The one that he's putting on the floor,
but then my question is
going to be for overtime and tips, and he's going to roll back some of the discounts that sports team owners get, things like that. But there is nothing in there that's saying about wiping out actual income tax.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
No.
But what about then? How do these people get paid?
How does who get paid?
All these people that work for the government
through tariffs. That's how they did it before.
Through tariffs.
Yeah, that's how they did it before. I mean, that's the way we did it in the olden days, although we were a lot smaller nation when we did it that way, but yeah, I mean, that's how they did it, through tariffs. I mean, tariffs. And there's other taxes. You have many taxes regardless.
Trust me.
You're talking about you're just talking about income tax.
I know, but if you get rid of my income tax,
there's all the taxes in the world, and they just get that's the problem, is that they take your tax dollars and then they spend it on stuff that you wouldn't choose to spend the money on.
How in the world?
And they do it secretly, which makes it even worse.
Don't you ask, how did we get here? How did we get here to the place to where we let you take our money and we don't even get to know where you spend it? And we keep paying it. Is there a way can I opt out somehow? Can I create a business that just says
from
no?
what I understand, and I could be wrong, I don't know. I mean, I haven't done the research myself, but I've seen plenty of people that say, even actual attorneys and things that have tried to find the law that says you have to pay income tax.
I've heard that rumor.
I've heard that you can't find it. I hear that doesn't exist.
You're right.
But it feels like it does.
It feels like if I don't pay my tax, because I'm acutely aware of April 15th. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right? I got to file my taxes.
You're in better shape
than
me. I'm more aware of November.
You know what I mean? That's funny, because I got to the point with my CPA. I'm like, look, whatever you got to do.
I file extensions on April 15th.
I feel like that's the play. That's the play. Becca's like, my wife's like, hey, we got to file taxes. I'm like, no, we don't.
We have to file an extension.
Nah, we're just going to get an extension, because I ain't giving these people my money until I have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
But I mean, I don't know. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true. I don't know who comes up with this stuff, but I've heard it for years. I remember being
They would shut you down if you didn't pay any taxes out of here on this liquor and stuff.
Oh, well, that's different. I'm talking about income tax. I'm not talking about liquor and stuff like that. Sure, you got to pay
tax is a tax, man. I'm just like,
sales tax and stuff like that, though, is state. That's not federal. So, I mean, taking care of your states and things like that is one thing. You know what I mean?
So you cool
your
with
local, that? Well, you have to. Somebody's going to have to pay for the state and local. I don't think that was ever going to go away.
Well, but doesn't it make you question the spending of the state then, or the city? I mean, you look at the city. Look at the city.
I'll tell you what. I'll be honest, and I don't even want to say it, but I had J.D. Tomlinson on here, and I was interviewing him.
You about to go at somebody?
Yeah, I am. But I'm talking about his prosecutor's office, Lorraine County Prosecutor's Office.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about it, and he's talking about his staff and things like that. So I just asked. I was just curious. Well, how many people are on your staff? Take a guess.
Oh, man, I'd say probably
the Lorain County Prosecutor's staff.
50.
96.
Oh, that's even worse.
96.
What? Why?
What are they doing?
Exactly.
What are they doing?
Exactly.
96 people in that office?
You got 100 people working for you, bro. What are they all doing?
I don't know.
So that's what I'm saying. Somebody's job is to, like, stand at the door and eat donuts all day. Like, somebody's doing right. Exactly. There's a
no
lot.
Way, dude.
There's something going on. What did you say when he said that?
I just was in shock. I didn't go after him about it, but I was definitely in shock. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was in shock.
And I'd be curious to know what his budget is. You know what I mean? Tell me what your budget. I don't
know. I mean, if you figure if it's 96 employees,
I mean, it's got to be
96. I mean, it's got to be 96,000 a week.
Yeah, and
maybe $100,000 a week. That's
and that's just your budget for your salaries. I'm talking about
that's $520,000 a year.
I mean, that's just weekly, though.
I'm saying, but for the year, that'd be $520,000.
It'd be more than that.
If it's $100,000 a week
for 96,
$100,000 a week. Oh yeah, it'd be $5,200,000.
Yes.
$5 million. Yeah, it'd be $5 million.
I'm like, nah.
That's just payroll. That's just payroll.
Yeah. Now what else? Now, okay, so you're paying $5 million to your staff.
Yeah.
What's your budget?
But why? Why though?
I have no. I don't get it. Like, what else?
What does it take to prosecute people like that? I don't understand. Like,
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, if I'm being honest, I'd rather pay a quarter of that and just let some criminals go. I'm just saying.
We could pull a Trump and be like, "Hey man, we're sending you to West Virginia, homie. You got to get out of here. You can't stay here no more."
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a cost. Like, there's got to be like there's got to be like a fair balance to what something's worth,
right? And so, and you're a prosecutor, so some of that money's got to come back to you, like, in the form of like fees and penalty charges. And you pay, you get 12 months suspended license and $3,000.
That goes to the city. That does go to the general fund, right? In the city.
I don't know.
I think that goes to the general fund.
Who's gonna some of that's got to come back?
I just can't believe 96 people.
That's a lot. Dude.
It shocked the shit out of me.
I would love to see that. Send Doge over there. We'll be Doge. Come on.
I was shocked.
Me and Jimmy are coming in.
All right, let
me see.
Like, literally, I mean, I did that interview before the election, okay? Like a week before the election, I did that interview, and I've thought about it every day since.
That probably ain't good
every day since.
Did he
I've
win?
Thought about it. No, he did not.
There you go, homie, man.
No, it did. I mean, the new staff has the new office that's in there. They have the same.
You'd be so
staff.
surprised, man. I would ask. I asked my employees, like, hey, so what do you do here? And you'd be surprised how confused that answer is. Do it. Ask. Just go down and have a meeting.
I'm limited.
What do you do
My
here?
people know what they're doing.
What do you
I
do?
have limited staff. I'm not.
Well, what you think?
My problem is that I don't trust people enough to do anything, so I just leave it to myself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but I mean, and that was my problem with construction when I had it too. Like, I was okay in the field. Like, I got good carpenters that I trained, and they came up with me and stuff, and they were all good, and I never minded that aspect of it. But the estimating in office and stuff, I was always so afraid to turn it over, even though I would make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would make mistakes.
Of course.
But I don't want to fire me when I make a mistake. You know what I'm
well,
saying?
You can't fire you.
Right. But them, I would be livid if they made the same mistake. I'd be annoyed. But I mean, I should have made that. I should have made that leap when I had the company before. I should have brought in an estimator, project manager, and got a little more autonomous. I can't say
automated.
Yes.
I was getting ready to say that. Okay. So then somebody should be in charge of making sure that you're running your business efficiently.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
So there should be a board. There should be a couple friends, maybe friends that don't mind telling you the truth. You know, your cheeseburgers suck, or no, that's great, but like you said the other day, you ordered some fries and they were all soggy. but there should be an outside source that says some things to you that are hard to hear. But
he's called Guido.
I got Doge. G-I-T-O. I got Guido.
He tells me when shit ain't right.
Guido's your Department of Government Efficiency.
He's the Department of Madhouse Efficiency.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Guido, come give me some counsel, man.
He comes in and complains about everything. He don't ever tell you when anything's good.
No way.
No.
Oh,
did you turn that on this time?
What?
You did? Okay.
Just light. Yeah.
It's just for some reason showing dark on there. I was just curious. It's like a darker. I'm so bright and vibrant, and you look like you're.
I'm sitting in the dark.
Yeah, it's odd. I don't know what that is.
It's on.
Yeah, it's working then, I guess. But yeah, anyways,
Guido never tell you nothing good.
No, I don't think so.
Come on, Guido.
Every once in a while, something he'll be like, "That was really good."
I'm gonna tell him you got to give Jim the sandwich method. You know, you tell him something good, tell him something bad, tell him something good. Put the bad in the middle.
He's not always right, though. I mean, sometimes he is. Sometimes he is. A lot of times he is. But he's not always right. But I mean, he'll tell you the truth, which I appreciate more than anything.
Is good.
That's wonderful.
Which is good.
I mean, whether you want to hear it or you don't agree with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the truth.
But he will tell you the truth. But absolutely, everything. But I don't have a board, though. No, I don't have a board.
Well, yeah.
I should probably consider getting one, huh?
A board?
Yeah.
Nah, don't do that, man. You don't want
That's why I never like doing work for churches, if
you
I'm
don't
being
want
honest.
A board, man.
Because when you do work for churches, it's like working for like 12 people.
Yeah. What's wrong with a board is most of the people on boards, they get on them, and this is just my experience with what I have to deal with. Like, they get on them, but they're not invested. You know, you're on this board, but if things go south, you're going down to the next bar down the road, right? You're just going to go down there when it's time to pay the bills, nothing's in your name.
Right.
So you don't have any investment here. Right. But you want to tell me how to do everything.
Right.
And I'm like, no. And so I made it very clear to my board, like, no, this is not how this is run. This is a board run by vision, the vision of God. So if you see me tripping, if you see me out here acting crazy, you have permission to like call me back from crazy, but you're not allowed to just walk in this room and say you're doing it wrong when all the bills are in my name, when all the preaching's in my name, when all the work is done by me. You don't get to come in here and just tell me what's wrong. You got to come in here and collaborate with me for the future, and that's what's wrong with the boards, most boards, but not mine. Mine's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. They collaborate. They look
as
for
a
solutions.
Contractor, a board is always it's always with churches. It's always like there's always a couple.
Yeah,
that know what they know how to build.
Yeah, and then you're
doing it wrong, and
because they get to feeling powerful. They're like,
and they only have a cabinet shop in a garage.
That's right, man. I can read a square. I built a doghouse one time. Don't tell me how to do it. That's what's wrong with most.
Yeah, that's what happens with us with construction. You don't have that. You're dealing with a homeowner. You could sit there and make that decision. A board, it's not that easy to just make a decision because everybody has input. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
It's just the way. Even when I went to see the board about putting the patio on, all of Elyria Township was.
Yeah, let's see all those people.
But there was one person that was like, I don't think I like it. Yeah. I don't know where it came from, but.
So what did you have to do?
She went along with it as long as I put pipe bollards up, which I was planning on doing.
But you just had to do.
I mean, I was already planned on doing it, and she went along with it because everybody else did. But she was not in agreement. She didn't like it.
Man, that power is an intoxicating elixir for most people. They get a little bit of it, and they just act crazy.
I don't want any of it. You know what I want? I want to collect welfare. That's what I want to do.
And really?
Oh, it seems like a really nice way to go.
Nah, you don't want to do that.
If you could get enough,
you would never do that. You would never.
If you could get enough on welfare,
I'm not letting you get away. You would never ever.
If you could just make enough to pay for a gym membership, go hang out at the gym, still have a boat. You want to be able to be on welfare and have a boat. So if I could be on a boat and at the gym and live my life, I'd be happy. I mean, is that possible? Is that
people do it? People do it.
I see
you see these
dude.
people, man.
I see it, dude.
You see some of these people just living out of their cars. I'm like, wow,
dude. I see people living good life. Like I know they're traveling good life, and they're like on welfare. welfare, and I'm going, I can't afford to do this shit. Well, I don't get how they're doing it. Like, I'm like, I'm doing something wrong, 100%.
No, I don't think you could possibly just sit somewhere and not do anything.
No, I don't want to do that. I
just want to go do something I just don't want to
have. Yeah, I just want to only do shit I want to do. That's it. The fun stuff.
That's awesome. I just want to do stuff I want to do. I want to do what do you want to do today? Stuff I want to do today.
Right. That's what I want to do. That's it.
That is a good lick. I don't know, man. You figured that out. I don't know that.
See it. I see them doing it. And then if you go get them to work, they're like, well, it's got to be under the table. And so I got to take my tax dollars because you're living too good of a life. So I got to work twice as hard for you to do something for me.
I'm getting this, what they call that. I'm getting this Social Security, man. I can't mess it up.
Yeah, they don't want to mess it up.
I can't mess it up.
That's the way it goes, man. And I don't know how I don't know. They got a sweet little gig they're doing. I want in on this gig, but it hasn't worked out for me yet.
Well, you just gotta grow your business so you're making money while you sleep, and then you can go get on a boat and go do everything.
Well, I do own a bar and I go to bed pretty early, so a lot of our sales go on while I'm sleeping.
So, I go to bed around 10 o'clock in the morning every morning, so it works out pretty good.
No, I go to bed at 10 at night. It's still open at that point.
Oh, yeah, it is making money while you sleep.
A little bit.
That's great.
A little bit.
That's great. A little bit.
But
it can make more.
But yeah,
definitely. You can't go get on your boat at 10 o'clock at night. No, it's messing with your leg.
You can't. You could, but I'm too tired for that.
That's funny.
No, I don't know. I see that and I get frustrated. I don't know how. I think that's really, honestly, if I'm being honest, I think that's more what's wrong with the world than the lack of Jesus and everything else. I know that most people want it to be the lack of Jesus that are religious, but I believe that wholeheartedly the government has stepped in and became the husband and father to the single moms out there, mm-hmm. and that eliminated the family unit, religious or not.
I agree.
And I believe that a lot of the single women are married to the government. That's who's funding everything. Mm-hmm. And like I say, they're living better lives than I do. I mean, you see them going on vacation, working only under the table for a little bit of cash, while their rent is compensated, their food is covered, their extra money that they make cash under the table so the government doesn't know about it. They're going to Florida or mm-hmm. Louisiana or whatever they're doing and living their best life. And I think that's probably the biggest part of the problem. Now, do I think I want to take away welfare? No. My mother raised me on welfare and needed it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the only vacation we took was we got in my grandma's car when she was on her way to PA and visited family. You know what I mean? We didn't go to California or Florida or Alaska or whatever it is that they do. But I mean, that's the thing, I guess, that bothers me. And you see that they're saying Ukraine. Did you know that Ukrainians are like the biggest tourist in Europe right now? Mm-mm. Yeah, they're saying in Italy and Europe, the biggest tourists with the most money and everything is all Ukrainians.
When I go down to Florida, down to where I'm, where I vacation.
Ukrainians.
Tons.
Yeah, they got the most money. Your money.
That's my money, homie.
That's your money.
Yeah. It's systemic too. You talk about people that live in that cycle. I spend a lot of my time trying to reprogram their mind to stop thinking like that.
Well, the problem is that's how it exists, and not only does we're starting to see that the whole world is married to the government of our government.
Yeah, you can see those that are indoctrinated by that way of thinking. Like, no, this is like I shouldn't have to pay for that. Like, who told you that? When did that?
They're okay with paying for it, but it's with my money. They just don't want to. They don't want to earn it.
Yeah.
And why should they?
It's such a dangerous. And really, you talk about if you want to know why there's such mental illness, that's a large contributing factor. A meaningful burden is so necessary in life.
Oh,
it's so necessary.
Trump said it. I think Trump was the one who said that recently. I think before the election, he said something about something to the effect
you gotta
of
go
like,
to work, man.
Yeah,
you
if you want to
have
cure mental illness, put people to work.
It's true. It's 100% true. But like a meaningful burden. Like, like I take pride in my work. I get up every day. I have to, I have to go do this thing that I do, and I contribute. I'm providing for myself.
If you sit around idle.
I couldn't imagine it. You couldn't imagine it either. I mean, you're like, even though you said that, dude, like.
Well, I never mentioned being idle. I said the gym, the boat. I was never going to be idle.
I've been on a boat, man. I've been on a boat. It's pretty idle. It's pretty like, oh, this is great. Isn't this great? This is great. I just got back from being on a boat, man. It's so amazing. I'm like, I get on that boat and I'm like, I really could just live here.
Oh,
I don't need to go back
that's pure
home.
Joy to me, man.
Man, the sunshine, dude.
My wife always laughs because, like, when I'm on the boat, my face lights up.
Oh, it's
when we go on plane, and she just thinks that's hilarious. Like, she goes,
I don't know what
funny.
it is.
She goes, you just light up as soon as you're on plane.
I don't know what it is. Something about the boat and the motorcycle. I get on a motorcycle and I hit the.
See, the motorcycle doesn't hit me like the boat.
Oh, man.
It just doesn't.
Yeah. Well, the boat only does it when I'm in Florida.
I have less fear on a boat than I do on a motorcycle. So the motorcycle, I just become hyper aware.
Yeah.
And that's a big, like, I don't quite get to enjoy it because I'm hyper aware. In fact, I'm just now to the point where I relax on a bike, probably the last 2 years. Before that, I was probably more tense than I was relaxed. Now I'm a lot more relaxed than I used to be.
It takes a minute.
Yeah, but the boat, that's all relaxed. There's nothing but relaxed.
And you don't go, so the only time you boat is in the summer months of Ohio.
Yeah.
Dude,
and it's not even that often.
Yeah, you got to go to Florida.
It's not even that often, honestly.
I went down there, got on a boat. Everybody else was driving, on the highways and everything. I went to Fort Myers, docked, got some lunch, got back in the boat, went back up to Bonita. Oh, man, it's so amazing.
It sounds like it. What kind of boat were you on?
I don't know,
like a fishing boat?
No, it was like a
cabin cruiser, or
what's a cabin cruiser? This is how crazy it is that they give me a boat, because I don't even know.
Like it has a bed underneath?
No, didn't have a bed. It had a little section where a bunch of people could sit in the front.
That's called an open bow.
That's
an open bow. So it was a smaller boat.
It had
like 30,
10 to 12 people
right?
could sit in it. I had 10 people in it.
Yeah, it's open bow.
But it did the trick. I was on a Gulf of America. I was in the Gulf of America.
Did you see that on Super Bowl Sunday, as he was flying into New Orleans? He signed that the 9th is now officially the Gulf of America Day.
Yeah, that's what I said when I came out. I said, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know this is your first cruise on the Gulf of America." I'm your captain, Troy Thompson.
The thing is that's just, I don't know what the point in that is. It's just petty. I mean, it's just.
I think he's making an economic statement. He's like, we're the reason there's such vibrancy on this coast, so we're not giving the credit to Mexico. I think that's why he did it. Just
there's a lot of people that believe it was because Biden signed a bill that we couldn't drill in the Gulf of Mexico, so now it's not the Gulf of Mexico.
Hey,
there's people that believe that.
That makes even more sense. Which is definitely an economic.
But I don't know that
play.
That would work, would it? Like, just like semantic games would work.
Do you see what's happening in this government? Can you see what's happening in this? Semantics.
It's wild, dude.
It's awesome. It's so wild.
So wild.
Yeah.
It is so wild. I can't wait till you get to see that. That's what I'm most excited about. Is Robert Kennedy Jr.
Oh, that is going to be good.
I want to see him go ham.
Oh, it's going to be so good for our children.
Oh, I want to see him go ham. I can't wait. He's the one I'm the most excited about.
When are they going to do the approval thingy?
He's having trouble, I think, getting confirmed.
We can't let
They
them
don't want to take that vote till they know they got it.
They have to do that. They have to approve that. If they don't approve that, we should riot.
There's a lot of people that don't want to approve him because of of his vaccination stances.
So what? They've already removed the fluoride in Florida.
They have?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, I want to call the city. Hey, if anybody out there works for the city, especially the water department. Let me know. I want to know. Like,
do we have fluoride? Are they putting fluoride in our water here?
It's in everybody's water.
No, you're wondering if they are right now.
Yeah, I want to know right now. Is there fluoride being added to our water? When are you not doing it? It should be. We should stop doing it.
Yeah. It's supposed to come away. Did they get rid of the dye too already?
I don't know.
The red dye. I was shocked about that.
Companies are making moves now to do it because they know they're predicting that it's coming in. It's going to happen.
But did you see that? Like, because you remember when we were kids, no red M&Ms. Do you remember that?
Was that true?
Yeah, there was no red M&Ms. Yeah,
there weren't.
No, it was like in the '90s they approved something that was able to allow them to have red M&Ms.
I don't remember that. That's crazy. You remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember.
No red M&Ms.
No red M&Ms.
And then they gave us how old were we when they gave us red M&Ms?
I don't remember.
That would explain.
Teenagers.
That would explain. That would explain the brain damage.
But the thing that I don't understand is what they said is that the dye that they outlawed it in makeup 30 years ago.
Yeah, I did hear that too.
But they put it in our food, the same dye. It's the exact same dye.
You put it in my daggone Apple Jacks.
But not in makeup.
And not in the makeup.
Can't be.
But in any other country either.
Well, no, yeah, that's a given. But how can the same department say this is okay for food, but it's not okay for makeup? I don't understand.
You do understand money,
no,
dude.
I don't, dude.
The food
makeup
industry.
Got money too.
Kellogg's.
They sell a lot of
because
makeup.
of Kellogg's. That's why Kellogg's.
My daughter goes to that. What's that place over there in JCPenney's? I forget what it is.
JCPenney?
No, inside of it. What's the hell is the name of that?
Olin Mill?
No. There's no. In Avon, the makeup place, the makeup stuff.
Oh, like Sephora or something?
Sephora,
like that?
yeah. She goes to Sephora. You see how much that is? That's a lot of money.
That is a lot
to buy some dye from the FDA.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the food industry is crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, I don't know how, but it's in collaboration with the government and the pharmaceutical companies for sure. We know that.
It's just everybody's just being greedy.
Oh, what was I going to say? Yeah, I don't know.
All I know is we're a lot less healthy, and I want to see us get healthier.
Yeah,
that's all I want to see. What about the Department of Education? What do you think about that?
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. We've already had this discussion. You know my. Get rid of it.
See ya.
Get rid of it. Bye.
See
Bye.
Ya.
Yeah. I can't wait for that too. That would be great. Yeah, and I don't know how they're going to fund states then. You know, like does that like do they just take that money and how do they do that? How do we send our kids to school?
The Ohio lottery isn't enough?
It should be. It definitely should be.
It's a lot of money goes to the lottery.
No kidding. I would love to see those numbers.
Oh, they've got to be astronomical.
Dude, I thought don't you do something here like that?
I got rid of the lottery. I lost the lottery, actually. There was some betting that went on when I didn't have cameras. I don't know who did it. And it was like $8,000 missing. So, yeah.
So you got rid of the baby with the bathwater, huh?
The baby with the bath?
Man, like back in the day, I remember, way back in the day, I mean, when we were kids, there was this dude who ran a bar on 28th Street. His name was Gil.
Yeah, Gil's. Yeah, I remember Gil.
And he used to run numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember, like, that was a lot of money.
Oh, it was huge amount of money.
Because, like, I knew people.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of money.
He made a lot. He made a ton of money. That was pre-lottery.
Right.
Or maybe.
Well, it was right
around the time. Right when the lottery came out. It was pre-Keno.
They were doing three numbers.
They were doing pick threes. Yeah, they were doing the pick threes.
Three numbers. Yeah. I remember that.
But he did it on
And then when he was doing it, man, ooh.
Yeah.
That was a lick. And what's crazy is, like.
The mob was.
Well, how come you can't do it?
What, run numbers?
Yeah. Why can't you just have your own little lottery here in your bar?
Gil was doing that illegally.
I know. I understand it. I'm just saying. But my question is, why can't anyone do it? Why can't we all just get together and be like, all right, man, we're going to choose some numbers and...
You said it earlier.
Yeah.
Power is too strong.
And at what point, do they start paying attention? Well, whoever they are,
you start running numbers. You're making enough money. That's how the mafia was born. There wasn't drugs and stuff. It was gambling, I mean, that's how the mafia was born. They were running numbers, and that's where it came from. I mean, that's where the big fight, the money and power, that's where it comes from. And now the mafia is the lottery is the mafia. They're making all the money on it. And they're doing it legally, and everybody's okay with
Everybody's
it.
cool with it.
Even more people will do it than, because back when Gil was running numbers, like, I knew people that played them, but I knew people that were like, I don't get involved in that.
I knew the people that were actually picking up the money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That was because I lived on 30th back then when I was a kid, and I remember Gil. He definitely was running the numbers. Had big money. Big money.
And you went to jail for that.
Bookies are doing it too now. Bookies do the same thing. I mean, betting on games and whatnot. There's big money in that too.
Well, I guess I'm just saying. Well, how are they gonna pay for the schools? Like,
what's wrong with the lottery doing it? I just don't.
Is that who does it now? Like for the states, the lottery?
Well,
they don't
that's what all the lottery.
They get subsidized by the federal government, don't they?
They do, but the lottery is supposed to go to schools.
All of it.
That's the whole point of it. That was why we agreed to allow them to put gambling, is so that it.
Then yes, the Department of Education, the federal Department of Education, has no reason to exist. They should be gone. Yeah,
and let the lottery pay for it all.
Let the lottery pay for it all, and then any funds that come to it, let the parents decide where those kids go to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I guess.
Right, it should be that way, because then you incentivize schools to be productive.
To some degree. Some people want to put their kids in a better class neighborhood. So then,
but it would be eliminated. It wouldn't exist. If I could take my kids to St. Ed's, it wouldn't exist. The money follows my kid, not my area code, not my zip code, not where I live. It would help.
I think that's how it is now. They pay
a portion. I think they do, but
they pay per pupil.
For the most part, these school districts are these school districts. So if you live in this area, you go to that school.
But isn't that what? Doesn't that crash property values to some degree? I mean, if you live in Avon, but you're right next to Lorraine and Elyria, I mean, your property values are probably going to go down.
But the money follows the kid.
I get it. So but all the kids in Lorraine go to Avon now. Except that now your house value just went down.
Well, my kids are going to be homeschooled, but anyhow. but I would say no. But how would your property go down? Because they didn't move to your. Nobody
your
moved.
School system is a big part of your property.
But your
value.
school, but
your school system is a huge part of your property value.
But your school system, does that automatically mean your school system would thrive?
What do you mean?
Because you live in Avon, or as opposed to Lorraine.
Well, I mean, when the parents are helping more, like in Avon, the parents are helping their children more than the parents are in Lorraine, probably. I think would be my guess. I could be wrong.
No, you're not wrong, and you know you're not wrong. You know you're not wrong. That's a demographic.
It is a demographic thing, but there's certainly people in Lorraine that are helping their kids. I'm not saying
100%. Yes,
that exists.
But by and large, poverty has these. There is a virus that,
and there's an argument that maybe the parents that help their kids would be the ones that send them to Avon.
They would. They definitely would.
More than the ones that
because those are the ones that find the charter schools and send their kids to the charter schools.
Right.
But that doesn't help. I don't know if the money, like does the money come with the kid? And if the money came with every kid, then as opposed to where the kid lived, then I don't know. So then just because you rent a house doesn't mean that your kid's less valuable. Just because you're not the person paying the taxes on the house doesn't mean your kid doesn't come with an amount on his head that says whatever it costs to give this child an education.
Believe that's how it is today. That's how it is anyway.
No, but they force these kids to go to certain schools, which traps them.
Some, not all.
In an environment. To a percentage, but not all the way. It's not all the way.
But they can only handle so much. Too. I mean, you can't
I'm curious about the whole thing.
You can't take Avon schools and allow all of Lorraine to come there. I mean, they wouldn't have the resources to handle that. They wouldn't have the buildings.
Well, they could only accept so many kids.
So the percentage is what it is. That's going to be what it is. The percentage is still going to exist. It has to. I mean, they have open enrolling out by me, like Keystone and Midview. They have open enrolling. I don't know about Avon if they do or not. I don't know.
I would doubt. I mean, they're already congested. They're building schools faster than they can have kids, man.
Oh, that's all lottery money too.
Well, tax money too. They tried to raise our taxes the last go around, so they could build some ridiculous doohickey. I don't know.
They did that to me. Did I ever tell you that story?
What's that?
I bought that house, my big house I had in LaGrange, or Keystone. It was Carlisle Township, but it was Keystone School District.
You still own it? You want to sell it?
No, that's when I got divorced. No, that was when I'm still in Carlisle Township, but I'm in Midview School District now.
I want to live there.
But my house that I bought, I bought the house and we went to the school for Alexa had football. She was in cheerleading, but for Pee Wee. So we go to the high school. And when we go in, there's a group there. It's election time, and there's a group there. They're talking to us. They said, they're trying to pass a bill to build new schools because these schools are horrible. And they walk us through the school. They look how bad
Keystone?
Yeah, they look how bad this is. Man. This is horrible. The high school. They show us these little rooms. They had remember how Holcomb had that little closet that was his office or whatever?
Yeah.
They got one of those. They're showing us that. And we're doing the same shit, right? And we're looking at all of it, and you're going, wow, and it's like this school is so bad. It's in such bad shape. Here I am, a new pillar to the community.
You're like, I'm gonna.
I said, yeah, I'll vote for it. I mean, it doesn't. What do I be? Go ahead. It's only going to raise it. It's only going to raise our taxes like $50 a year. Who cares?
Yeah.
What's it matter? So I do it, right?
Mm-hmm. You voted for it.
I vote for it.
Okay.
I put in a bid. I don't get the job. First of all, let me just say that. I didn't get the job, but that's a whole nother thing.
Oh, no.
I went to an out-of-town kind. So whatever. Okay, fine. That's fine. I lost a bid fair and square, I guess, which I never understood. I remember Elyria, the county, took on a contract back. This is when I was young, like in the 90s. I remember seeing in the newspaper they took a contract for utilities or for their toilet paper and garbage bags from an out-of-state contractor instead of an Elyria contract. Always thought that was shitty. But anyways, regardless. So this happens. They get the contract.
That should be. Yeah.
They build the new school. The new high school. They build this big, beautiful high school over there. It's very nice actually, and they build it, and we get our tax bill. They came through and reappraised all our properties.
No.
So after they get the bill pressed,
never stops.
You know how much it goes up? Mine, personally, my house, $280 a month. A month.
Oh, my gosh.
By the time they reappraised it and added this on, it was $280 a month. Oh. I could afford it. It didn't hurt me. But I thought, man, there's going to be people they could lose their house. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was shocked. I was dumbfounded.
Oh, wow.
That alone, I'm already going, this is crazy. This is I'm watching it going, this is insane. Why would they do who can afford this?
Yeah.
And of course we're in that situation today anyways. Most people went up 40% or whatever.
Yeah.
So at any rate, this is the worst part. I haven't even told you the worst part yet. The worst part is that at the time there was Penfield Elementary and there was Carlisle East Elementary, Carlisle West Elementary. I think East might have been closed already. I think East may have been closed, possibly. Either way. So after they get the new high school built, what do? They close all the elementary schools. Guess where they put them?
Yeah.
Guess where they put them? The high school that they walked us through that was unfit for teenagers.
And now they're going to hit you up again.
For your primary education.
And now they're going to hit you up again. Now we need primary education buildings.
Isn't that disgusting?
And somebody's got to pay for them. Yeah.
Isn't that disgusting?
That's happening in Avon right now. They just can't keep up with it. They can't keep up with the boom. Every farm is being turned into a community, and they can't keep up with. There's so many kids.
They closed the schools.
So they take the older schools and then they pull those kids out of there and put them over here. And then they put a new group of kids in the older schools that they said was condemned, and we had to build these bigger buildings for.
So here's the worst part. Okay, that's not even done yet. It gets worse.
Gosh, dude.
So Carlisle is right there on 301. It was right there. So and I lived it was 5 minutes for us to take Alexa to school. Okay. right? Now you got to go all the way downtown, LaGrange, right? Well, they couldn't pass a levy the next time. I wonder why.
Sure.
They canceled busing.
That's what they do to you, man. It's like a ransom. They're embezzling you.
Yeah.
Like so either you vote for these things or we'll punish you. You don't want to pay for it? Fine, dude. That's fine. Yep. We'll just take away the buses. Now you got to drive your kids
further away. Then cancel busing. Meanwhile, raising your taxes. And by the way, I didn't get the job.
And you should see. And this is why we do that. This is why we do not need the Department of Education. So let's get rid of it.
I mean that's not the Department of Education. That's just.
If that's what that entire that entire system operates that way.
Yeah, that's how leaders just figure out ways to get what they want.
Yeah, their entire
and they don't
system.
care how they get it. They work around it.
They're like, all right.
They did it in Lorain, too. Before I sold my house in Lorain, they did the same thing. They passed levies for the schools, and then they built the new schools, if you remember, when they built all the new...
I do, yeah.
So they passed a levy to do that. And then I remember specifically the city of Lorain, I can't tell you the amount, but I think I'm right when I say this, paid $400,000 to a company to reappraise every home in Lorain. So they went around and reappraised it right after they passed the levy.
Yeah.
So that's how they get their tax value, is they get it jumped up, but then they paid out all this money to even reappraise it even.
Did you see the conversation that was had about U.S. Steel, the investment from Japan to U.S. Steel?
No.
You didn't see that? Yeah. So Trump and the Prime Minister, I think, of Japan had a open interview.
But not our steel.
U.S. Steel, yeah. So Japan is now they're not going to buy it. Trump said, "I won't let you buy it, but I'll let you be an investor." And so I don't know what that means for the steel industry here, but I'm hopeful. That means. I don't know what the number is. I wish we had somebody in here who could pull up the number.
It would be wonderful for them to build a really nice steel mill right in the middle of Avon, and then take this mill and give us a nice place,
I agree.
Walkway.
I agree. Now, listen, I'm with you. I think they should take the riverfront. They should disassemble all of that, reinvest in the riverfront.
No, just knock it down. Have you seen the aerial?
No, reinvest in actually get rid of it, and then reinvest in things like hotels and entertainment and restaurants and all of that. And then take the mill and put it in Alcatraz. Put it somewhere, put it down there between Cincinnati and Columbus. You know what I mean? On I-75, is that what it is? There's nothing.
Or put it out by Baumhart. I don't care. I mean, that's good enough.
Yeah, take the Ford plant. Be on this side of the road. Be on this side of the road.
Yeah, stay away from the river.
Get off of the lake.
Yeah.
While you're at it, get rid of this railroad tracks, and let's reinvest there too. Let's invest in Lorain. Yeah, I agree. I'm hopeful.
Well, one of the problems, I was sitting here looking at our leadership. Because I'm looking for people to interview for podcasting.
Did you call the mayor?
I did not call the mayor.
Why not?
Jack Bradley? I'm still kind of sore.
Never mind. Punt. Go ahead. What were you getting ready to say?
I'm not that mad.
I should not have said that. No, I'm sorry.
But I was thinking of people to interview, so I was looking at some of our leaders.
But if you do interview Jack Bradley, please, I want to be in here.
The congressman, I was looking to see who our congressman is. That Bob, whatever, Latta or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious about him. You know what I mean? He's been in charge a while. I mean, he's not from around here. That's one of our problems. That District 5, and that's why it made me start looking at it, is District 5, it hooks Lorain County, and it goes all the way to Indiana. You know what I mean? All through, down through Toledo. That's his district.
Okay.
He's from out that way. He don't know nothing or care about this stuff out here. He's a farm boy.
He ain't even paying attention.
He don't know nothing about it. No, we've got the wrong person voted in for us specifically.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying people, man. I'm not saying that he's doing a bad job. I'm not saying that. I don't mean to say that. I mean, it seems like if you look at his voting record, he does okay. I'm saying that we need somebody out there fighting
personal
our fight.
representation.
There's nobody out there fighting our fight.
You need somebody to go there and be like, look, man, we're sitting on a gold mine over here with the Black River and Lake Erie waterfront, and nobody is.
And that councilman we had on here, did you see the interview we did with him?
Mm-mm.
We did an interview with Antonio Baez. He was a councilman in Lorain, in South Lorain.
I think I know Antonio Baez.
You may. It's very likely. I think he might even go to your church, or did go to your church. I think
he did. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
But anyways, he was a councilman in Lorain.
Okay.
And we were talking to him about it, and I kind of got on him a little bit. I was rough on him a little bit because he was talking about putting programs into place, like to have art shows and this and that. I go, no, forget that, dude. Go find somebody.
Thank you.
Build some work.
Thank you.
You want a nice social program? Get a job. Find them a job.
Your social life will improve by factors of 50.
And I told him that, and I felt like I went too hard on him. I kind of was rough on him.
So what?
And I felt bad about it a little bit afterwards because I didn't mean to. I'll be honest. He pissed me off with the kumbaya. I don't want the kumbaya shit. South Lorain,
he was probably just telling you what you wanted to hear, man.
No, well, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to do these things.
He's out now, though.
Yeah. I got another council person you can interview.
He dropped out. Who's that?
Mitch Fallis.
All right.
He goes to church there. He's on the front row on Sunday. Bring him in.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, I like interviewing people.
Yeah, Mitch.
And he was a good interview, actually. He's been on here twice.
Yeah. Right
before he took Ray's spot, so that's why we interviewed him the first time. And he comes in and has dinner with his wife a lot and stuff like that. So. That was a second interview because it was a year into his, but then he dropped. Then he's gone now, so I don't know who's going in there now.
Do you think the tariffs will, because he sets these tariffs? Do you think they're going to bring like the auto industry back inside the country?
I don't know how it works.
Like, do you think Ford plant will?
The problem is if you're Ford, okay, and business is business. It don't matter how big or small. But if you're Ford, your first thoughts are, for Ford. That's your first, that's your responsibility. That's what you're.
But you're going to get hammered. If you're Ford and you're in Mexico, you're going to get hammered
for 4 years. So that you don't know. That's the problem. That's part of the problem with America is that you have to worry about what's going to happen in 4 more years.
But don't you think, like, based on what's happening and what has happened, I mean, it seems to me like Vance is pretty set up. As long as he doesn't do anything monumentally stupid.
I don't disagree, but I think that what you need to do to secure things in this country is to pass a more active.
But we can't put him in there for 8 years. What if he's
I don't want to put him in there for 8 years. I don't want that. That's not what I want. That's not even on my agenda. But I believe that we need to start setting up the laws so that they can hold stronger over time. I mean, if he puts in a tariff, I mean, he should be able to hold that tariff for 10 years, 12 years, something. Something should be locked into our laws that state that that's the case for X amount of time.
I see what you're
saying. Unless there could be
right, unless it's like
I mean, if there's something
detrimental to
if there's a
the
reason,
production of
correct. But the problem is if you're a company, a steel mill, a Ford company, GM, Honda, whoever you are. To invest in America is too unknown. I mean,
it's more unknown in third world countries. I mean, it's way more dangerous there.
I mean, if you invest in Mexico and China, you know they're going to be friendly to you. I mean, I don't know. It's a problem in America that I don't think that people are seeing it or understand it. Yeah, it's wonderful.
I'd be curious to see like what companies, like what their play is on it now. What percentage of those companies that were gone are coming back now? And like, all right,
the problem is by the time
it seems like there's a lot of them.
I get it. I see that. I see that there is. The problem is you invest in something that won't even be open until he's gone, and then somebody else might have lifted the tariff. Now you're spending money you didn't have to spend.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's an uncertainty that sucks.
There's a lot. I mean, some of those conversations. I was so excited just for Lorain because of some like the U.S. Steel conversation, and then the tariffs, and then seeing like, wow, well maybe that'll bring a lot of work
I don't
back.
know what it would take to fix the U.S. Steel. I think that they could, if they wanted to, they could have it running in 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it'd be easy. I'm saying you'd have to bring in major contractors. spend a lot of money, but it could be up and running in 6 months. But it's a lot of demo and start over.
Don't you feel like money is just like not even a question anymore, considering what we've just learned over the last 4 or 5 years? We're like, they could do it.
Yeah,
they could solve the homeless problem in the country if they wanted to.
How do these people like Warren, like Elizabeth Warren?
I like how you just leaned into me like somebody was listening.
How do these people possibly say it's not okay for them to be audited when they audit us every year?
I don't know, and I don't understand. That's the stuff I don't understand with people who support these people.
How?
Like they were just getting ready to hire how many IRS agents so they could examine $600.
Us.
And you're upset that we're celebrating the fact that they found billions of dollars. I can't figure out how you would want to support that.
He just started.
That is a racket, dude.
Just started. One place he went in and found all that.
And now, man, I'm just like, give me my money back. Give me a tax break for the next 10 years.
That's the worst part.
I don't care what you do with it.
It's not even our money. That's the problem with it. It's not even our money because we're $30 trillion.
Yeah, you've already spent it.
It's not even our money.
You see the prediction is that I think Elon posted it. He was like, we can settle the budget. We can come out of the red by 2026.
Do you know the last time we were out of the red?
Bill Clinton.
All right, you do know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was because somebody said something.
Yeah, he's a Democrat, but he wasn't a Democrat in what you think of a Democrat today. He was just a reasonable human being. Now,
he was.
I mean, besides his.
Don't ask, don't tell.
I mean, and then like taking young girls to the White House and getting pleasure. I mean that's questionable.
He had a weak one.
But ever since they've been murdering people.
In all fairness, if Hillary was your wife.
Oh man. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my goodness! Like, I mean, there's few people can. I mean, she's just irritating to listen to.
I remember thinking she was cute though. When she was young, I thought she was cute.
I don't remember that.
Like I didn't think she was horrible.
I mean, you talk about.
I thought Jill was cute too. Actually, I didn't think she was an ugly old lady. You think Jill's an ugly old lady? Just don't like her.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just can't get past.
Her. I think that she was supporting Trump all the way.
Do you think so?
Dude, did you see that red dress?
I did see
on Election Day?
That was crazy.
What the hell was that?
There was nothing more baller, though, than Melania wearing the hat and doing all that.
She looked like a zoot suit.
She was like, listen, I'm coming for you. The whole family. And it seems like, like the whole family's now playing.
What did Barron say to Joe Biden?
Right, something happened there, right?
He said something.
Did you see the lip readers that come on now and they read lips? You haven't seen those?
No,
you gotta go research that and talk about it tomorrow morning. Go research that because they say they read his lips, and then they read the lips of Melania when she went. So he goes up to Biden and says what he says, but they read his lips, and then he goes and he talks to Melania. Melania says, "Be nice."
Really?
Yeah, you got to see it. Yeah, and then they read the lips of like Trump and Obama as they're sitting there and they're having a conversation, and it seems legit. Like you read.
What about this book that they're talking about that's got Barron Trump?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that boy's going to be the president.
Have you read this book?
I haven't read it, but
have you heard about it?
I have heard about it.
Did you read Chaos yet?
And I got a stack of books at home, dude. I got to read through. Every morning I got to read like a chapter in each book. I rotate like 1, 2, 3.
I can't do that. I got to go.
I got like 4. I got 4 books that I'm reading through simultaneously.
Oh, you have ADHD.
No, read
it's just I have just one. Jesus,
just focus, boy. Come on. I just need you to read one book.
Just one. One at a time.
I read through this chapter, then I grab this one, read that chapter, and
that would confuse me in my head.
I read weird too.
I don't think
I read really weird. Like I'll read as I read now. I read like half the book. So like if this is the page, I read the right half of the chapter, and you don't need the left side.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
I'm telling you, try it. If you read,
I'm starting to doubt what you know about the Bible,
bro. I'm telling you, try it. I don't know if I've just refined it, but I can read any anything you give me, and all I have to do is read the right side of the paragraph. Just, I guess, split it down the middle, and I just read the right side, and I could. Your mind is that sharp; it can put it can put it together. I'm telling you, try it. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just telling you, you do not read. You're wasting time reading the left side of the page.
If you're going to keep preaching, don't tell people that. Don't let them know that you've only read half the Bible.
Grab that book. Give it to me. I will show you. You do not need the left side. I don't care any book. It doesn't matter.
All right, let's do one of my favorites, a classic. Who's Afraid of a Big Black Man?
Who's Afraid of That's Charles.
One of my favorite books. He's hilarious.
Oh, I've never read that.
Oh, I love Charles.
That's Charles Barkley from back in the day, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So all you got to do is read the right side.
This is crazy. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, so in this chapter, he's talking about this person named Miss Carlson said there was a joke that he misinterpreted, and it was considered racist. Yeah. I'm telling you, you could do it. I'm telling you, you could do it.
Charles, you wasted your time writing a whole book.
You could have read
You could have written half a book.
You've never seen that.
And left the other side for
notes.
notes.
You ever saw those where they jumble the words and then your mind is able to like put it all back together for you?
That's a little different.
No, it's not.
It's a little different.
No. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I do it, but I'm able to do it. I'm able to just, and I mean, if I really like the book, then I'll read the whole thing. Then I'll just I'll immerse myself in it. But all I'm trying to do is just kind of get an understanding of what it's saying. Like, oh, okay. I don't really waste my time reading.
Do you want to take this one home and add it to your collection of read? I've read it already.
It's good.
It's a good book. I did it to support Charles Barkley. I
like Charles.
I was a fan of Charles Barkley.
Yeah, I had his shoes before he was even.
Huh?
Yeah, I had his shoes. I used to buy his shoes, man. I liked him.
I liked him as soon as he said, "I'm not your role model."
That's exactly what did it for me. That's exactly what did it for me.
That's when I fell in love with him.
When he said, "I'm not your role model,"
and he was right. I mean, and that's the biggest problem. And you know what? The thing is, what he was saying at that time, which was so critical at that time, because there's all these kids that wanted to be ballers or wanted to do this or one, but now it's these people that want to be like Joe Rogan needs to say, "I'm not your role model."
Yeah.
Right now, that's he needs to be the person that says, "I'm not your role model." The same way Barkley said it back then. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or Theo.
I don't even really know that I understood why I liked it as much as I did when I heard it, because my mind wasn't really where.
Well, when I heard it the first time, I thought, well, I mean, you should be somewhat of a role model. I was kind of like, well, you should be a role model. I mean, you're in the public eye and this and that. But then when I saw the interview where he said, no, the police officer, the nurse, the doctor, that should be those are achievable goals that you just got to work hard at and you can have. He goes, what I'm doing is for the few and far are going to get here.
Yeah, I think I didn't interpret it as that either.
That's exactly what he was meant when he said that, was that your role model should be a fireman, it should be a pastor, it should be
I know what he meant now, but back then when I heard it, what appealed to me, the reason I was so like, I like that, was the idea that, like, don't think I'm more than I am. Don't, like, stop. I don't want you to think I'm more than what I am. That's how I read
then that's
it.
True too. That's the same thing.
I'm not more
that's
than,
the same thing.
Then you're making me to be something in your mind. A similar thing. And I'm not trying to be that for you. So stop doing that, because you're putting expectations on me to raise your kids.
That's the same
and
thing.
I don't want that.
He's just saying it should be someone else. I like that. Is what he was saying basically.
I like that.
But you're right. That's what he's saying, is that I'm not that. But he's also saying that it's this is not as achievable. I mean, this takes luck.
You're not going to get
it. It takes hard work, and it takes ability. There's three common things that have to happen, because it has to be the ability, it has to be the hard work, but it also has to be,
some genetics,
a little bit of luck, and a lot less Snickers, Charles. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, he ain't got to do it now. He's on the boat doing the thing. You know what I mean? No, you don't need to do that.
No, he's eating churros now. Remember that churros thing on TNT? He had to apologize to the women of San Antonio.
did remember that. That was funny.
He's hilarious.
He is funny.
The funniest thing he's ever said, though, was when he said that he got that bracelet from the guy in the sauna. Do you remember that? Oh, my God. Dude, that's one of the greatest things ever. He's talking about his bracelet, and he said, and they asked him about it, and he said he got it from a guy in the sauna, and, Shaq and everybody's just like, what?
I was on a cruise. I went on a cruise, and I was like, man, there's so many people on this ship, man. I need to be alone, I was just tired. I was people, and it was just, I was like, I gotta get away from people. I'm like, where can I go on this ship to be alone? I was like, oh, they got a sauna. It's like, probably can't be that many people in there, So I go down, find the sauna, and I walk in, and I really didn't take my time to put my stuff in there. I just kind of put my swimming trunks on and took my shirt off, took my shoes off, and just kind of handled my hand. And I walk in. I walk into this. It was a steam room. I walked into the steam room first. Okay. So I was like, I'll go to the steam room, then I'll go over to the sauna, and then I'll maybe do some push-ups over there or something. Just a thing. So I walk into the steam room, bro. Isn't there there's got to be a code of conduct. You can't just be laying around with no clothes on.
In the steam room?
In the steam room, right? So I opened the door, and there is this large male with all of his maleness, just legs wide open.
Did it make you feel self-conscious?
Bro, I walked in. I was like, I can't turn around now, but all of it's in real time. I can't turn around. So I immediately, without even thinking, I just take my towel, I stuck it over my head. I'm like, I got to go sit down for just a second. So I sit down for just a second, but I take my towel and I shove it all the way down over my head. I'm like, why is this dude laying here like this, man? Like, this is, they can't,
well, gym people are like that, too.
No.
Like, they are, dude.
No, I'm telling you.
When you go to the gym, like a gym, like they do. They run around and they get naked and they're just walking around the locker room.
We can't do this. I'm just saying right now, if you're out there and that's you, don't do that. All right, because it's weird. A dude just walking into the.
We did it in high school.
Room.
We went to the showers naked.
We just went to the shower, but I would wear my towel all the way to the threshold of the shower. Put my towel.
But it was
down.
still just an open pit of
That's one thing. But I'm walking into a room where there's just me and you. Okay.
Sounds romantic.
And exactly. And I'm like, and literally while I'm sitting there, I'm like, I gotta leave. I can't be in here. Somebody's gonna come in here and see me, and they're gonna be thinking like, what are you in here doing? So I sat there.
Or even worse, what if he makes a move?
Then yes, I thought about that too, because
you already said he's big. You don't want to have to fight him off.
He was a big dude. He was a big dude, and he said he said something. I don't like whatever, So I just sit there for 30 seconds. I get up, I walk in the other room, and I walk into the sauna. I'm like, all right, I'm leaving. So then I walk out and I sit down, and now I'm like, I had sat in the sauna for a minute, and I started to feel lightheaded. So I sat down in the locker room, and I'm like, okay. So I'm just kind of catch my breath, and then in walks two dudes, and they're gay, and they start getting undressed. And I'm like, what? I gotta. And everyone's naked, and he's gonna walk into this room, but we're in a public space. And my question is to society is, when do we allow this to take place? That we could just be naked in public space. It's not okay. I'm not comfortable with it. I think we should pass some legislation. I'm calling my man. We got to do something because this is not right. This is not right. So I just walked back to my wife. She said, what happened? I was like, can't go in there no more. Can't go in there. She's like, what happened? I had to tell her what happened. I'm like,
I'm going to take a hot shower.
It's not safe. All I wanted was I just wanted to be alone, but I didn't want to be alone that bad.
No, that's
you know
no,
I mean?
that's.
I didn't want to be alone that bad.
You'd have definitely been struggling on that one. No, that's not that. That's. I mean, I don't think that bothers me that much. Like, when I was a member at the Racquetball Club in Grafton, I mean, that
really
on, yeah, they'd come in the sauna and
that's what the guy said. I told it to my son and his friend. He was like, "Yeah, guys do that." I'm like, "This is not okay. This is not
just
normal."
what they do. It's pretty normal. I mean, it's not. That's the reason that the saunas are like at that place are in the men's locker room or the women's locker room. Like, they have their own saunas in each one, so that you're not like mixing, interracial. So you don't have to wear clothes essentially. But
no, it's not okay. We gotta. Okay. I just wanted to sit in some steam and think. I didn't want to have to sit there and play mind chess.
The worst one that I ever dealt with at the sauna was most of the time there was nobody in there. So I would go in naked. I would just jump in the shower, whatever. Life was good. Smaller shower or smaller sauna. So there really wasn't ever hardly anyone in there. There was an older guy that used to come in there and work out all the time. And if he seen me, he would come over and talk to you. And he'd walk in the sauna when you're in there. He'd just stand there and talk to you,
just
butt naked.
Nothing on.
Yeah, nothing on. It's like, dude, you got to go.
No, you got to quit doing this. We can't. That's like walking in. That's like walking into a restroom, public restroom, and there's 3 urinals, and there's nobody there, and you take the middle urinal. That's wrong. You don't do that.
Yeah, that's a definitely no.
Right?
For sure.
You take one to the left or one to the right, because when another guy comes in, he don't want to be sitting next to you, doing that.
Agreed.
And don't talk to me while you're.
Do you remember the old Brown Stadium? Do you remember that urinal?
Remember? I said that. That's crazy.
Like
we're all just standing there going to the restroom. Could be peeing on each other, and it wasn't even like it was just so wide open, wide open.
A straight trough.
That was crazy.
But it was the whole bathroom setting type thing. I did this church. I think it was a church. It might have been the Masons in Medina. I didn't work on the project. I went there to bid it for $620 back in the day, and I go in there to bid it, and I'm looking at that. We're redoing the bathrooms in the one sanctuary or whatever, and we go in there. And the urinals, I wish I had a picture of it. I mean, if I find, I do have a picture of it. I don't know where it's at. But when I find it, I'm going to send it to you. You think that that's crazy, like the Cleveland Troffer thing?
Yeah.
These were urinals that were stuck. They were like triangular coming off the wall.
Okay.
And there were urinals that were just like this. So there was one where you're peeing here. So we would literally be face to face. Nothing in between us. Yeah.
No way.
I remember looking at it going, somebody probably got a frickin' raise for designing that.
Who designed that? Yeah, that's not okay.
Yeah, way worse than the trough. I'll take the trough every time over that.
I mean, at least the trough, like, you knew, like, they were just here to get it over with, and there's 100 guys just waiting at the door to get in,
Yeah, right. It was nuts. You're just trying to get in.
But
that was nasty. That was nasty for sure. Those bathrooms were nasty.
Yeah, it was.
I don't remember them too much. I probably last time I was in them, I was probably 12, 13 maybe. So it's been a long time. Municipal Stadium's been gone for 30 years probably, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I was, but I remember seeing that thinking, this can't be real. Like, who did this?
I remember going to the first time I went to a game with my mom, like a baseball game. And I remember
it was the Indians too. Yeah.
I had to walk in there by myself, and I'm like, this is insane. And I mean, the worst part is I was a little boy. I'm like maybe 6 or something, 7.
So you're eye level.
Yeah, you're like, this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And this is the way it is. Like, it was, I don't know, that's horrible. Not my idea thing for sure. But sauna, I love the sauna. The sauna.
I'm gonna put one in my house. I'm not gonna go to the public no more. I've decided that.
My buddy Don Foos says the infrareds are the way to go.
That's what I heard.
He says they're better for your body than the other ones. I have an infrared sauna. I like it.
You have one?
It takes too long to heat up though. But I like the rocks. I always like to pour the mist on the rocks and get the steam. Get it all. steamed.
Where is it in your house?
It's in the garage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's in the garage. I could put it downstairs though.
How big is it?
I thought about it. It's a.
How many?
It's
people?
It's a like a corner one. Like
okay.
So it's 3. I think it says 3 or 4 people. I don't know.
Wow.
But it's just me and my wife's the only one that go in it. And Dylan. If Dylan knows it's on, he goes in it. Dylan's the worst. I'll pull out we've got like a little massage table too. Me and the wife's gonna have some fun. We pull out the massage. If Dylan sees it, he squirms right over. Okay, rub me. Come on, let's go. He's horrible. Like he was begging to go to the chiropractor.
Really?
And we took him, and he loved it. He wants to go back now. He loves it.
Who do you go to?
This guy right here. Yeah, Lorraine. Yeah, Lorraine Injury Center or whatever. It's right across from the ice cream place right there.
Okay. Yeah, I used to know a dude. He used to go to the church a while back. I was afraid of his name. Now his son runs his business in Elyria. Over there.
When I was a kid, Diaz was down here. Do you remember Diaz?
Mm-mm.
He was right there at the tracks, right at that little.
Yeah, I used to not believe in chiropractic, but now as I've gotten older, I'm like, that's probably better than.
What, chiropractor?
Yeah. They're probably a better.
What do you mean you don't believe in it? What do you mean you don't believe in bones cracking? I don't understand.
I just thought they were a little quacky, back in the day. I thought, man, that's not a real doctor.
I mean, that's still true. That part's true.
But no, I don't know. I think, now my wife goes there for more homeopathic treatment, that's preventative and just seems healthier. It just seems less pharmaceutical.
The problem with
less pharmaceutical.
It is, but the problem is they don't ever fix anything, so.
The chiropractor?
There's that.
The chiropractor?
No, you got to just keep going back.
Just keep getting crunched.
So when somebody starts going there, they just keep going back.
Yeah.
I went there.
Does it feel better, or is it just?
I went for my hand. My hand locked up on me. I couldn't use it.
Oh yeah, it's like Lamont.
For almost
Fred
a year. For almost a year, it was locked up on me.
What do you mean? It just did this and stayed there?
There was so much pain. It was so much pain. They said that it's the same thing as like carpal tunnel, but it's on the other side of my hand. Mm-hmm. So it's called a repetitive use injury or whatever. So I would go there, and believe it or not, he'd work on this.
Yeah.
He wouldn't work on my wrist over here where it hurt. He worked on this, and he got it to go away.
Interesting.
But if it was up to him, I'd have kept coming and coming and coming. I'm like, nah, I'm done. It's over. I'm done. It's
good. Don't do it no more. Wow.
Once it started working, I was good. But I was doing metal studs and drop ceilings my whole life. And actually, we did a ceiling specifically it was a slotted T. It was Sonata. For anybody who does grid, they know what Sonata is. It's got a bulb to it. Like, it's not just a T. There's like a bulb there. And you usually cut it on a saw. But because I'm always I'm going to go fast, I was cutting it with snips. So I cut this whole 10,000 square foot job.
Of course, yeah, okay.
And I cut everything by hand. And every time you got to that, like, it would shear, and you'd feel that, but it worked. I could do it. It didn't hurt. Well, then one day it just, nope.
No.
And it was done. I had to do everything with my left hand for about a year.
Oh, man.
I mean, everything. I had to wipe my ass with my left hand, I had to change everything, dude. It was bad.
That was a mess for a couple of weeks.
It was bad. It was not good.
You and Bo were those bidets. Like, no, we're going to do this. We got to be better.
Do you know why? Do you know that Muslims use bidets so that they do that to be clean while they pray?
No, didn't know that.
That's why they don't want to be dirty. Yeah, they won't pray if they're dirty. So that's the reason they like a bidet.
Well,
it's standard practice for them that if they pray, they want to be clean.
I think being clean is good.
It is definitely good, but that's the reason they do it. I didn't know that because the neighbors across the street, like theirs broke or something, and her mom is in here, and she's like, no, you got to fix. You got to fix it. I got to go home.
We can't. We're not doing paper.
Yeah, I don't know if they don't do any paper. I don't know how that works, but I mean, yeah, it's definitely for cleanliness is the reason. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, then that would be, yeah.
They won't pray if they're dirty. So if their kids, like if they pet the dog, even they have to take a shower before they pray when they do their prayers. So I thought that was interesting when I heard it. I mean,
it's interesting.
It's ritualistic. There's a lot of things that I guess, you know what, in religion, I think that's the thing that the worst about that I don't like is the ritualistic type stuff, which your standard Christians don't typically have rituals, but Catholics do, Muslims do, Hindus do. They have the ritualistic. I'm not good with ritualistic. I don't like ritualistic.
The rituals are only as rich as the relationship.
What do you mean?
If you know God, then the ritual is meaningful. But if you do not know God, and all you're doing is the ritual, then it's empty.
I believe but the ritual is.
But to know Christ, check it. To know Christ, and then receive communion, to take the bread, and to drink the cup, way more meaningful once you know Jesus. But if you do not know him and all you're doing is running through the ritual because somebody's leading you in it, then it's empty. It's void.
Well, that's probably all kids, I would imagine.
Nah, man.
A lot of kids that are raised, you're doing stuff because that's what you're taught.
Right.
And then
it doesn't become more meaningful. It doesn't become meaningful until you know God.
Yeah.
Once you know God, then you're like, oh, what we're doing it means something. Like to be in covenant is meaningful because it represents Jesus and his church.
You think you can't? I mean, I don't know. You think God's sitting up there going, he's got to do his ritual? Why ain't he doing his ritual?
Well, no, I don't think he does that.
So I don't understand the point of it.
I think he would rather you not do the ritual. But okay, let's just use communion because Jesus said, as often as you do this.
I don't consider that a ritual.
Well,
you don't do communion daily.
Well, plenty of people do communion.
Communion daily?
Oh yeah, lots
really?
Of people. Oh yeah, lots of people.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, my in-laws do it every day.
They do communion.
I know several people that do it every day.
I don't know anybody.
They receive, but okay. So let's.
I know bad people though. I don't know good people.
That's not true. Let's examine what Jesus said.
I know Guido.
That ain't right, man. We're taking communion later today. But Jesus said this. He says, often as you eat this meal, think of me. What was he saying? He was saying, every time you go to eat, take a minute. Consider that I'm the bread of life, not what you're eating. So it really wasn't about the ritual. He's just saying...
He's not talking about praying either. He's just saying, take a minute for you.
Take a second, consider me. Remember that I gave my body, I gave my blood so you could live. You're eating this bread, you're drinking this cup, and you're doing it to live. But I want you to, every time you eat, basically, I want you to take a second, give thanks for the abundant life, the eternal life that I provide in me. You look to this bread, you look to this cup as sustenance for your life. But I want you to know, every time you do this, you should consider the eternal life that I give you. That's what he was. But without a meaningful relationship with Jesus, you just go to church once, twice a year, take a cup, take the bread, eat it. It doesn't really mean anything. Or marriage, for that matter. The union of marriage is so sacred because it represents Christ's sacrifice for his bride, the church. That Jesus gave his life for his church. And that when he returns to the earth, he's going to bring his church. He's going to gather his church to himself. So when we enter into a covenant of marriage, the tradition of marriage, this thing we call marriage, it's meaningful because it represents Christ and his bride, the church. But
really? 100%. Get that out of that.
Because
I don't get that out of that.
That is true. That's the Bible.
I don't get that out of that. I don't know where you get that from.
You've never saw the scriptures. That's where I get it. I get it from the scriptures. Scriptures says this. Paul, I mean, I give you. Paul says to I forget what church he was talking to, and he said.
I always thought the whole marriage thing was bullshit myself. No, I'm just kidding.
It represents Christ and his love for his church, the people of faith, which represent his church. Yeah, the church. That's what the Catholic Church, is good at, like, communicating that, like the church. But without the relationship. But he says this to husbands. Husbands ought to love their wives as Christ loved the church. And that way, the way that Christ loved his church is that he gave his life for his church. So he's, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the.
Well, I just told you. Now you do.
Yeah. I hear what you said. But I mean, you only read half the book, so I don't know.
No, I started reading that.
What you missed on the left page.
Yeah, I started reading that a long time ago before I had that ability. Yeah, and
it's not an ability. That's not a real thing.
It definitely is. It definitely is. I wonder if there's anybody else out there. I want to know. Am I the only one that does that? And I don't do it. Like I said, I don't do it when I read the Bible. I only do it. Well, no, that's true. That's not true. So if I'm
why wouldn't you just submit to the skim reading like they do, like the speed readers do when they skim? Why wouldn't you do that over?
Well, it's kind of that way,
half
but
the book.
But I've just, I don't know where I picked it up, but somewhere along the line, I just wanted to get the material, and I was like, I'm looking for something. Or a lot of times I'll be looking for something in the Bible. Like on a Sunday morning, if you ever visit, like you could come see me. I'm a Sunday. Every Sunday I'm in church. But if you were ever to come visit,
which Sunday, which church do you go to on Sundays?
I go to all of them. Yeah, Sunday I start in Lorraine, then I go to Cleveland. Sometimes I go once a month to Wycliffe, and I dissolved Avon Lake. I moved it to Lorraine. I'm selling the building, so blah blah blah. But sometimes on Sunday mornings I'll be looking for something in the text, and I'll just pull my Bible up, and I'll do that. I'll look.
You do the right side only.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you're
or the
missing,
headlines.
So it's up to Marlon to get the left side.
Marlon, grab that left side.
Marlon, pay attention to the left side. He ain't paying attention.
No, man. I'm really curious if that. What is that? Somebody tell me if they have. If they do that too. I'm curious to know.
I know what it is. I can tell you what it's called.
What's it called?
Laziness.
Well, how am I supposed to? I can't spend all that time looking for something. Yeah, I mean, and like
my wife hates when I read. She does hate that. I will give she's like, well, my wife hates when I do anything like productive. My wife is the sole proprietor of let's not be productive today. Like if I get up in the morning as I'm ready to go to work, the first thing comes out of her mouth is don't do it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Stay home.
She is the proprietor of.
What is she trying to get you to do? Just stay home. Let's go.
Let's take a nap. You know, want to go to breakfast? Anything but work. So when it comes to books, she's like, lost him.
Here we go. He's gone now.
He's gone for a week.
I don't get any attention now for a week.
She doesn't get any attention if I'm not reading. She just doesn't like me distracted.
There's some books that do that to me. Now some books I will. If I'm in it, I'm like, oh, this is good. I got to read all.
That's the only books I can read. If it doesn't do that to me, it gets put out.
Yeah, but I have to consume so much content to stay current, relative. Like it's just it's a lot. Like
just constant
the amount reading, studying, watching YouTube. A lot of times I'll cheat like that too. I consider it cheating. Yeah, YouTube's cheat. Because if anybody wrote a book and it's
or audiobooks.
Yeah, well, audiobooks are a waste of time too for me because they just take too long to get through. But they have this thing now called Headspace, I think it's called. Something like that, where they summarize. Yeah, they summarize the books for you.
Really?
And in 15 minutes, you can get it. They just tell you all the points, what it's about, blah blah blah. You can get it. And but if it's a really good thing, and a lot of times I'll cheat, so if anybody wrote a book that's any good, like I could probably go on YouTube and get the condensed summary of this. Easy.
It's just funny. It's just a bunch of Barclayisms.
Oh, then that's.
I mean, it's just fun to read.
And then I'll probably enjoy this one.
Barclay's
and so I'll read the whole thing.
Yeah, Barclay's funny.
But if I'm just going through trying to gather information or research, like just content, it's just, ugh.
It's just a lot.
It's just boring. A lot. You don't remember. Can't imagine how many filler. A lot of people just say filler stuff. They just.
Oh, that's most of them. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of communicators are not.
But I mean, you got to put yourself there, though. I mean, you got to. Some of it's good. A good writer isn't.
25% of it's good.
A good writer is trying to put you there, trying to really bring you in.
It's true. The best, as I've gotten better, I still don't think I'm that good, but as I've gotten better at communicating, I try to say more powerful things with less words, and the less words I can use, the more efficient my words and more powerful the words
The
become.
simpler with the words too.
Just
The simple makes a big
because you should
difference.
be able, right? You should be able to communicate something so simple that you take an entire chapter and say it in one sentence.
People tend to like to use big words,
Yeah, but that's not.
and it's a bad move. I remember.
It doesn't help.
Yeah,
It doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's the
Doesn't
worst
help.
because nobody knows what the heck you're talking.
And your vocabulary will grow with you. I tried to do that at the beginning when I first started, trying to communicate, preach. It was empty and it was hollow and it was disingenuous. It wasn't in any way, it wasn't my voice.
Right.
It was somebody else's voice in my mouth.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, there was this Kearney Construction. They had hired this kid named Sean, and I thought he seemed pretty smart. Seemed a lot smarter than me. I was doing this job with him, and I knew Jack Kearney. That's how I got my job in the union, was through Jack Kearney, because he was doing all the work for Visconti Properties, where my father-in-law worked at the time. But Jack's, comes in and he says, kind of had a negativity about this Sean kid that he had hired to run work. And I go, he seems pretty smart. He goes, nobody knows what the hell he's talking about. And I was young. I was probably like 20. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about half the time. He's right.
You're right. I don't know. Like he's using. I
thought he was smart because he was using words I didn't know. I'm sitting there going, what the hell is he talking about?
Well, he's really not that smart. He really wasn't that smart because he wasn't communicating in a way that made you understand what needed to be.
That's his whole job, was to communicate.
Yeah, and you missed it.
I missed all of it. I had no clue.
Well, he missed it, not you. I mean, it was just like it was his fault. Yeah,
but I was the one that had to do what he was asking.
Anytime I've ever felt like, that sucked. It wasn't. I never, and I feel like that a lot. I'm like, I could have did better.
My biggest problem is I look at myself more often. So when he's using big words I don't understand, I look at myself as failing for not knowing those.
Most effective way to communicate is not to think of yourself, but to think of the person you're communicating to.
Sure.
That's 100%. When I'm communicating, the times when I felt like I've communicated the best, I never thought of me. The times when I felt like I've communicated the worst, I was self-conscious. I was thinking about what are they thinking about what I'm saying, or or are they picking this up, or why are you not paying attention? Like, that was all focused on me. The moment I take myself off of me and put it on you and go, okay, how are we going to solve this smash burger fiasco? How are we gonna? What's the sauce we're gonna use? Like, you immediately put the attention there. You immediately become more effective in communicating. And anytime I've done well, I'm like, I hit the mark. Anytime I've done wrong, I'm like, I was talking to a straw man. I was talking to myself. It was the worst.
Yeah, I don't do good with communicating unless I'm yelling. I don't yell unless I have to.
You might have a little preacher in you, man.
I get too hyper. Like, I get like,
oh yeah,
I don't know what it is. Like, so a lot of times people think you're angry. I'm not angry. I'm just worked up.
Yeah,
excited, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but
it's intense.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's I always say emotion is not just love. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A lot of times you see a guy that's angry like that. Mm-hmm. He's a very emotional guy. The same guy will give you a lot of love. Mm-hmm. But emotion is emotion. When someone's an emotional person, they're not just angry. They're not just happy. They're not just loving. They're emotional. Yeah. It's going to work both ways. Emotions work both ways. They don't have one and not the other. I can almost guarantee that.
Have you ever read any books on emotional IQ?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so emotional IQ is a better indicator of success over the span of a lifetime than your actual IQ, than what you know.
Well, I've always thought that the IQ test has to have flaws.
Yeah.
Like, that can't be the
all it does is assess your ability to retain information.
Their information that
but success in a lifetime is determined based upon how you can control your response to things. That's what
makes sense.
Research discovers, that it's not what you know, but it's how you control your emotions in the pitfalls of life, or in the joys of life, for that matter.
Oh yeah, so that's fear. That's everything. Yeah. I mean, that's everything. I mean, if you're too afraid to make the move, or you know what I'm saying.
Emotional intelligence is way better of an indicator of the potential of somebody.
That makes sense.
So put somebody in. So the next time you're hiring somebody, just put them in a very stressful situation down there, and then see how they respond emotionally. And if they lose it, they start cussing at people. If they start, then like, you got to get better emotional intelligence. You need to be more emotionally intelligent, so just control yourself.
You don't have a lot of choices when you're hiring cooks in a bar.
Some people are born with amazing, like they're just born with a natural emotional intelligence. Like Marlon's, Marlon's that way. He's just very emotionally intelligent. Like you never see him just lose it. Like even when he's happy, you're like, you happy? You know what I mean? Like he just rides it right there. Not that it just doesn't come out because he's learned to like control his emotions. Like
maybe he's just a sociopath.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I forget what did I say to like the indicators of somebody that's a serial killer.
Yeah.
When you yawn, they don't yawn. So if you yawn and you wait 7 seconds and the person across from you didn't yawn, they're a serial killer.
Is that true?
I heard that. The research says that.
I'm going to have to check that out.
And next time you're in a room full of people, give them a big yawn, see what happens. Oh, no. Like, I ain't hanging out with that guy no more. For sure.
I don't want to risk that. All right. Well, man. You got anything else you want to talk about Trump's designs that he's doing? I can't keep up.
Yeah, he's moving at a rapid pace. It's
the only thing I'm unhappy with is the Gaza thing. But I firmly believe he's just asking somebody else. He's just trying to.
He's throwing anything. He's spaghetti on the wall, dude.
Yeah, I think it's trying to get somebody else to step in.
And you heard about what he's doing, right? He's moving at this pace, so he keeps the other side behind him.
I think
they can't keep up.
I think I've got 4 years. I've got to get everything enacted and going and active before I'm even done.
It's very intentional because he's just trying to keep that other side of the aisle unstable. So by the time they catch up to what he's doing, it's already out of the news cycle. Yeah. They're crying about, Doge, but he's already moved on to like, I already renamed a part of the map. You know what I mean? He's already moved on.
I saw they took the signs off the USA building. Did you see that?
I did see that. What is absolutely ridiculous to me is this dude will use anything to troll you. He said, I'm signing an executive order to make paper straws no longer existent. We're going back to plastic straws, baby. Like, who signs an executive order for plastic straws?
This is the thing, though. He has an innate ability. To see what Americans
he's just thinking. Right there, man.
He understands it.
He's downstairs,
for somebody who grew up in such a
I know
a privileged lifestyle.
How did he get the ability?
He understands exactly what Americans are thinking.
That's what I'm like. How did he get there?
I don't know where I don't know where he got it from, but
wealth will insulate you, right? I mean, wealth will put you in gated communities.
But he was always part of he's always been part of the hip hop culture. He's always been a part of this is a guy who had Michael Jackson helping raise his kids.
Right. It's so weird to me that he has such a pulse on the average American.
He does, though. 100% he does.
And most of the other ones that have been there for
I'll tell you who I think that where you can put that at. I think you can put that in the hands of Fred Trump. That's what I think.
Fred Trump is his father?
Yep.
Yeah.
His father, I think, had to have. Some point he had to have. He had to have just kept him grounded.
I don't know how, man. He should put that in a book. He should definitely put that in a book.
Somehow he had to have kept him grounded. Whether it was through the tenants that when they were doing welfare units and stuff more than his big something.
I mean, you see how he went to I think it was first week he went to North Carolina. Did you see that?
He went to North Carolina, California, Vegas, did a speech in Vegas, then was golfing.
My man. But the way he
I'm like, what the
comforted those people and spoke to them, and
he just had a conversation.
Holy moly.
He had a conversation. More importantly, when he first started signing executive orders, that was when you really started to feel comfortable about it. He's sitting there, all the press is there.
Just
let's talk.
He's just signing.
Let's talk.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's not there's no pretense there.
No, there's no pretense. He's signing. What is this one?
Yeah.
Okay, this is an important one. This is an important one.
Right.
We can say gay now. You know what I mean?
He's just going off.
Oh, it was crazy. And they're just talking at whatever questions they got.
That's how you know it's not a lie. It's not something fabricated. Yep. He is that guy.
They said that girl, did you see Sean Ryan's thing with Linda Lee? Linda Lee was, I guess, she she worked for Biden. And she worked for the Democratic Party.
I read a paragraph on that the other day.
Sean Ryan did a thing. She said that she knew that he was in bad shape when he would be in a room with 10 of his donors, 10, and he'd have a teleprompter. Wow. And he was still messing it up.
Yeah.
That's sad.
He wasn't even there, man.
He wasn't there. He definitely wasn't.
It was just proof, but that's just proof of the corruption that exists.
But I think she's full of shit too. Like, if you go read it, I think she's full of shit too. I think there's some. I don't trust her.
What do you think she's doing?
I don't know.
She's just looking for a book or something.
She's just
like, look, man, Trump's in office. I'm trying to get.
She's just jumping shit.
I mean, even rats know to jump off of a sinking ship.
Yeah,
even the rats.
But it just when I'm watching her, like, some of the stuff she says just doesn't add up. Doesn't make sense. Like, she said it was Obama's third term.
It was.
But when Sean Ryan pressed her on it, she didn't give no reason why it was. In fact, in the answering of that, she's basically saying that the young, hip,
this is gonna make
woke who was running, in the White House. She's saying that rather than she didn't even answer anything about Obama.
Yeah.
In fact, then she goes on to say Obama was shocked to see his cognitive decline when he walked him off stage that day. She said he was after
to that degree, maybe, but Obama knew what he was doing.
I don't know if Obama was involved.
Did you
as much
see?
As they think.
This is going to make a lot of people upset. But did you see? I don't know how true this is, but I saw something the other day as I was scrolling, and it talked about Michelle Obama's first 8 years of voting. She voted as a man.
I don't know if it's true or not. There's a lot of that goes on. Yeah, but you see those white pants and her dancing and that little movement, you go, I don't know. And then there's that picture, dude. She looks like a dude. Like, that looks like a dude. Yeah. That looks like her 100%.
But where did the kids come from?
But I'm sure she's a woman. I'm sure. I mean, I think it's funny. I definitely think it's funny.
But I'm sure
sure she is. I mean, the kids look right? Don't they look right?
They do.
I mean, wouldn't they have adoption records or something?
I don't know, but how would you know? You would know.
I mean, something. You would think something would. I mean, Trump was digging hard, dude. You know he was. He was before he ever ran for president. He was like on that. He was the birth certificate.
Yeah.
Like, remember, he was going ham on him. I'm sure Trump would have figured out if Michelle was a Michael or not.
That would be all.
But he has. You've seen him say Michael though on accident. He slipped. He's called her Michael on accident. Like, he's literally done that.
That is so messed up. Did you see also where that congressperson was a trans and they introduced him, like, they made it like,
oh yeah,
and then they introduced him on the floor as a dude,
as a gentleman, and he goes and he lost his shit, and it's like, Trump said there's two genders now, and that's not the one you are.
We can say that. But I'm just like, man, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta be entertained by that. I mean, at least entertained by it.
I mean, at the very least, it's him trolling. At the very least, I mean,
maximum level, dude.
He's the ultimate troller.
Maximum level.
There's nobody that can troll like him.
There's some stuff I'm watching too. I'm like, this dude doesn't.
Wait, did you see that? Did you see her going to the game? They showed. I forget her name. What's her name? Kamala, yeah.
She went to some game?
She went to a basketball game. Did you see it? The nosebleeds.
I saw the video where
Why was she in the nosebleeds? What is a VP president? Like the ex-VP president.
Bro, she's on the lam.
Why?
She's actually trying to run.
That's horrible. Somebody said
the AI
Somebody said he must have used the nanny's tickets.
Have you seen the AI image of her? They got her walking down the road drinking a wine bottle.
Hilarious, dude. Those AI videos are too much.
Who did this?
The AI videos are too much.
It's crazy.
The best are the interviews, like when they did Patrick Mahomes after the Super Bowl, or like those are the best. Those ones are like those are great.
Yeah,
those interviews are great.
It's too much. It's too much.
All right. Well, for today, let's just say thank you, America, for loving Jesus again.
Yes, that's good.
And we're out of here. Peace.
Take it easy, guys. Take it easy.
That was something that I've been waiting to talk to you about. I just keep seeing it everywhere.
What's that?
Just like Jesus is in full circle right now.
Yeah, the Ohio State thing. Like I said, I couldn't tell though. I couldn't tell that